Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a couple of Disney story times that I've come up with throughout the past couple of months. Make sure you stay tuned because I will be announcing the winner of last week's giveaway as well. And let's get into it. So the first story is going to be from Disneyland Paris at New Year. If you did watch those vlogs, you will vaguely know about this story, but I'm just going to go through everything what happened because I didn't go through it in that much detail. The whole story revolves around New Year. So we travelled out to Disneyland Paris on New Year's Eve 2019 and we were heading to the New Year party in the Disneyland park. Now it all started relatively well. We arrived quite early, we went into the parks, everything was great, and then it got to around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock-ish and we decided we wanted to head back to our hotel, which was actually off-site. Now usually when we go we stay on site, but because it was New Year the prices had skyrocketed and we only booked it a few weeks before, we decided it would be best to stay off-site. So on the email that we got from them, it said there was shuttles to and from the parks and everything like that, and it was really close by and easy to access. So we were like, oh, that's great. But for some reason we couldn't find any way to get there. There's two bus stations, I think they're called North and South bus stations. We actually went to both of them. We still couldn't find a bus that mentioned anything to do with our hotel, so we were like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And we had our suitcases with us, so it wasn't easy like dragging them around. So eventually we kind of just gave up and we got in an Uber. And then when we got to the hotel and we arrived at the hotel, we were told that the shuttle they were talking about actually isn't a shuttle, it's a public bus. So basically it was literally just outside our hotel. There was a bus stop and it was just a normal public bus. It went straight to the Disney park, so it was actually quite easy, and it was €2 each per person per way. So it kind of worked out okay in the end. Obviously we weren't expecting that charge or it to be a bit inconvenient, but at the end of the day we were kind of fine with that. We were like, right, that's great. But then they proceeded to tell us that obviously because it was New Year and we would be heading back to the hotel around 2 o'clock in the morning, that the buses don't run throughout the night, so we'd have to find some other way of getting back. And we were like, oh, that's fine, we could get an Uber or a taxi, like we'll figure something out. So we didn't really bother too much about it, and we thought, do you know what, for the rest of the trip, other than tonight getting back, we will be fine to just get on the bus. So we head back into the park, we celebrate the whole New Year party, which was so much fun. I would recommend going if you get a chance. If you do want to head and check out the vlogs, I'll link the playlist somewhere up here, I can't remember where it is, so you can go and have a watch after you've watched this video. But basically we finished the party, it got to about 1:30, 2 o'clock, which was when the party was ending, and we were like, right, we'll head back to our hotel. So we went to the roundabout, which is right near Five Guys and Vapiano's, if you know where I'm talking about, because that's where most Ubers kind of wait, or that's where they'll pick you up. So we headed over there, we ordered an Uber, and we were like, oh, this is great, this is so good. Like there was a lot of traffic coming around because obviously everybody was needing to be picked up by Ubers or cars or whatever. So we were just like, right, we'll wait here, when an Uber comes we'll get in it, go back to the hotel. Perfect. It was like a 7-minute journey, if that. We did plan on walking, but the way it wasn't lit, it was basically just like roads, so we decided 2 o'clock in the morning. We didn't know where we were going. I'm pretty sure my mum's phone had run out of charge and I had like 8% in my phone, so we were like, we're in a foreign country, maybe walking on the road at 2 o'clock in the morning isn't the best idea. So we were like, no, we'll just stay, we'll get a taxi, that'll all be great. I forgot to mention at this point when I was filming that my camera had also run out of charge by this point and I didn't have a charger with me. So that's why there wasn't any footage from like all of these things that were happening. I would have recorded it either on my phone or my camera, but obviously I didn't have that option, and the tiny bit of percent I had left in my phone I thought it was more important to keep in case we actually needed it for some kind of emergency situation. So we're waiting, we're like, yep, got an Uber, this is great. We see the registration plate come up, we're like, this is great, we keep an eye out for it, and then like about 30 seconds later it cancels. We're like, okay, never mind, we'll just get another one. So we go to the next one, okay, we're waiting, we get the registration plate, we're looking for it, it cancels. This keeps happening, like literally maybe 10 or more times. We order it, we get the registration plate, we look out for it, it cancels. So eventually we were just like, wow, like what is happening? So we got talking to some other people and they basically told us that because everyone was so desperate to get Ubers and things like that, the Uber drivers would put their price on the Uber app or however it works, which was between like, I'd say 7 and 15 euros, so like a reasonable price, which was their normal pricing. They'd see that people would take it. Once they'd taken it, they would cancel, so that everyone was panicking, nobody was taking anyone anywhere, and then they were like basically asking for ridiculous amounts of money. So they would be like, no sorry, no sorry, they'd keep driving, and then you'd see another Uber driver walk past like, does anyone want a taxi for 100 euros? And you're like, 100 euros to go 7 minutes down the road is literally, I think it was about 25 minutes, half an hour walk away. And we were like, that is ridiculous. But obviously everyone was so desperate that actually people were going for it, and like, you know, at that point that's the only option you have. So time goes on and we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do. Obviously it's quite difficult because it was only me and my mum. Neither of us can speak French, or at least not well enough to converse with somebody in French. So we were just like, what are we gonna do? Like, there's basically no way we can get back to our hotel. So I was like, right, why don't we head to the Newport Bay Club Hotel, which was the closest hotel to our hotel of the Disney ones. So we walked there and we thought it might be quieter, it might be a bit of a different atmosphere, and maybe somebody at the hotel can help us. Obviously because our phones were running out, or at least one had already run out and mine was very close to running out, we were in a bit of a situation because as soon as we lost that, then we basically had no way of getting back. And bear in mind at this point, I'm pretty sure we only had like 40 euros on us or something like that. We didn't have that much money because we weren't prepared for it to cost that much. We planned that we would pay by card through the app, so we didn't have like loads of change on us or anything like that. So we ended up at the Newport Bay Club and they were like, we only have one taxi number for the whole hotel. And we were like, I don't know if you've seen the Newport Bay Club, but it probably has like hundreds of rooms, like thousands of people probably stay there, and they had one taxi. So we were like, what? I literally don't understand. So we're like, okay, can you ring them and ask and like see what can be done? By this point it's getting on for like 2:30 in the morning and we've just like had enough, maybe even later than that. Another side note, at this point we'd been up for basically about 24 hours because we flew in that morning. I think we woke up at maybe 3 o'clock UK time to like get out and go for our flight and all that stuff. So we'd literally been up for such a long time and we just wanted to get back to the hotel so we could go to sleep. So the woman slash man, I can't actually remember, at the desk rings up and was like, yeah, so they've just set off from here to take somebody to Charles de Gaulle Airport, which is like maybe half an hour away. So they'll be back in an hour. And we were like, I mean, if worse comes to worse, we're gonna take it, but that's the only taxi you have? Yep, that's the only taxi number we have. So they go off and like have a look just in case they could find another one. No, that's literally it. So we were like, well, what are we gonna do now? It was getting to the point for me where I was like, can we just pay for a night to stay at this hotel? But obviously that would have probably cost us like 500 euros because it was on the night and it was New Year. So we were like, not the best idea. So we keep waiting, and eventually an hour later this Uber driver turns up and is willing to take us back. And yeah, it cost us 40 euros, but I think that's just because that's all we had. He probably would have tried to ask for more if he could have done. And I do understand they have to charge more on New Year because it's a holiday, and obviously they probably don't want to be working, they want to be spending their time with their family. But at the end of the day, 100 euros for a 7-minute journey, we were like, wow, that's just, no, that is not happening. So yeah, eventually we did get back. It was probably about 4 o'clock in the morning before we made it back, and it was all a little bit stressful. As I said, our phone ran out of charge by this point and we had like no money, so we were a bit panicked. But you know what, it was all good fun. We got back in the end, and then the next day we took it a bit easier. We didn't get up for rope drop like we usually do, and we just had a little bit more of a chill. But there we go. So that's the first story for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and it's basically just a reminder, maybe don't stay off site somewhere if you don't have a car or any type of transport on New Year, because you might get stranded. So there is 2 more stories. The first one is going to be about how I missed my flight, and this was literally last week. It's only a short story. And then the final story is going to be the story which also happened last week of when I nearly had to go into the emergency room and the paramedics had to come and all of that. But I'll get into all of that in a minute. Now before I do, I just want to go on to the giveaway winner. Now this water bottle is the prize we picked out when we went last week. It was supposed to be the plan that my mum was going to get it, but since I decided very last minute to go. Obviously I got it myself. So what I've done is I've written all the names down of everyone who entered. Thank you guys so much for entering and subscribing, watching and liking and commenting on all my videos. It means so much. But obviously there can only be one winner, so I've put a number next to everybody's name and I've gone for the number generator like I did for the previous giveaway, and the winner was Holly Page. So well done, Holly, you have won this giveaway. I'll put my email address up on the screen so you can get into contact with me that way, and I'll send it over to you as soon as possible. Again, thank you everyone who entered, and there will be more giveaways coming very soon. My next planned trip is in April to Disneyland Paris, so I might pick something up then. Or if a surprise trip happens before then, who knows, maybe we'll get another giveaway before that. So stay tuned for that. So it turns out I lied to you guys. I said that there would be 3 stories in today's story time, but actually I'm only going to leave this one in here because I feared that that would take like 3 to 5 minutes for me to tell, but apparently I can talk for a long time. So I'm going to leave the other 2 and they will be coming out together, maybe even consecutive weeks next Saturday. So as I say, I'm sorry that I may have misled you to thinking you might get 3 stories, but they will be coming, I promise, next Saturday. I have obviously already filmed them. I just don't want this video to end up being half an hour long because I actually have a lot more footage than I thought I would. So make sure you stay tuned, subscribe and hit that notification bell if you would like to be notified when next week's video comes out, so you can watch it then. And obviously all my other Disney content too, which comes out every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at 7 PM UK time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!